Good afternoon.
Hello, everybody.
Let me make sure I'm on here. Let us know if you're hearing me and seeing us clearly, please, young ladies and gentlemen. Make sure I get everything set here. Ah, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Let's see who's here today. And by the way, I am Toni Sawyer. This is my husband, Clifton.
Hello.
Mhm. We are Cornerstone Life Center, and we're here for another life class tonight. Let's see who's here first. Sandra is the early bird today. Hey, Sandra.
Okay.
Hope you and majority are doing okay. There is Vincent in California. Vincent Kelly.
All right.
And
Alicia.
let's see who else is Alicia. Hello, Alicia. And then there's my sissy and brother-in-law. Let us know if you're hearing us good and clear. I noticed Sunday there was a little bit of echo in our video for some reason. Don't know why, but you know how these electronic things are. Occasionally they will act up. Let's see what I got here. Yeah, there we go. All right, let's see. And who else is here? Dee Dee and George is here.
Okay.
And there's Deb. And there's Kim. And there's Kelly. Hey, KK.
Miss Kelly.
And John Greason is in the house. Linda Langdon is in the house. Yeah.
Miss Linda. Okay.
Thank you, Dee Dee. She said, hear and see you good. Thank you, sweetheart. Last Sunday, I don't know what it was. We had echo in our.
Laverne is on with us tonight.
You see Laverne? Where?
I thought I saw it, but no.
There she is. Hey, Vern. Hey, sweetie.
Yeah.
You were in our prayers.
Yeah.
Yes. Everyone be praying for Laverne and Johnny. They're going through some things right now and with his health, and we're just believing for a miracle to take place.
That's the truth.
And for him to have relief. And they're in Georgia right now, as a matter of fact. So be in prayer with them tonight and tomorrow and until. There's Jill. She's in the house tonight. And Vincent said, it sounds great, looks as good as the chili dog that he's about to eat.
Oh, my Lord. The chili dog.
And there's my sweetheart, Judy. Hey, Judy.
Christine.
Glad you're here tonight. And there's Sister Chris. Hey, Sister Chris. Yeah. So we're here. All of us are here, and we're believing for the best for Laverne and Johnny. And
yeah, we are.
Have you on my heart, sweetie. I just want you to know that. I have you on my heart. Okay, let's do an affirmation. If you would, let's do this. Let's just do this right quick, and I'll do this right now. Okay. All right, center in if you would. And I want you to just acknowledge God's presence inside you, God's presence as you. And take a deep breath in. And release it now, letting all concerns go as much as you can. Let everything go. At this moment, you don't need to hold anything in memory. You don't need to try to imagine anything. Let's just be present. And repeat after me. I give thanks to thee, O God, for my existence. I give thanks to thee, O God, for your presence. I give thanks to thee, O God, for this awareness. For the awareness of my existence. And I surrender the illusion of being a personal self. I surrender the illusion of being a personal self. And I want to read this one as well. And you don't have to repeat this after me, but it's just a reminder of what God is, how we are in our true nature, our true essence. Love is the collapse of the sense of separation. Love is the desire to remove the gap. Love is the desire to be one and not two. Love can never be demanding, but instead sets one free. Love has no self-interest and is never concerned with winning. Winning is not in the vocabulary of love. Love has no reason to love, it just is. Love desires nothing from the other. Needing to be right is not the language of love. Love holds no position to argue. Love cannot be threatened. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Let's see who else has come in the house here. Let's see who else is here. Let's see. Did I miss somebody? There's Marie. Hey's Marie. And then there's Joe. Hey, Joe. And there's James D. Hey, James D. All right. What are we talking about tonight? Do you know?
Well, we all are here seeming like individuality, but we all come from the same tree. We all from the same breath. We are all the same essence. When God speaks, it is we that speak. If God move, it is we that move. Now, in order to say this, you can't say it unless you understand or your mind is no longer resisting the eternal realities of your eternal essence. Once the mind fully embark upon this darkened area of identity, it will fall in line with the flow of divinity and the essence of all of us. And that area will no longer be resisted. But some of us do not wake up to this at the same moment, simply because some of us are used as instruments to help bring others around them to the place of seeing. This is something that has to take place, and it's some immediately. There are some people that come to this dimension already awake to what we're saying, and there's some that come into this dimension and have to maybe at the end or middle catch on to it. So we don't see any reason why we should labor to the degree of trying to manipulate through messages and sermons about if they don't wake up, they're going to miss God. Nobody can miss God because we are all eternal. He is the eternal essence, and everywhere. God ain't here. God ain't in this. Well, if David said he'd make his bed in hell, God was there. So how can God not be in everything in the sense of knowing, being, and existing?
Yes.
You can't just say, I'm going to shut this part of me down and the other part, I'm going to put it in ignorance where you don't see anything. Anyway, the truth that we are beyond words, and we are the supreme self and the essence of God. We are beyond words. So words, when you wake up to your true identity, essence, your language about yourself will change. And if it does not change because you are in the presence of those who cannot handle the language of essence. Wow. You don't get upset. You don't get over into the mud and get disappointed. You understand all things.
Mm.
Understanding all things is the key to the fourth and fifth dimension of non-duality.
When you mentioned fourth and fifth dimension, can you give us a little bit of understanding
Well,
about that?
In my research, there's a place in the fourth and fifth dimension where one finally wakes up through the seeing eye of God inside of them, that all things are existing and there's nothing else existing outside of him. And I'll have to come back later and talk more about this fourth and fifth dimension, but it has a lot to do with you rising up. See, the second coming of Jesus and all comings of Jesus comes from inside of us to the consciousness around us. This awareness is like you starting in your house. You start in the front door and work your way through the rooms. The new birth experience and the receiving of the Holy Spirit has been misunderstood as something coming. I'm not saying that it can't, and I'm not saying that it don't. But the key to this is from inside out. It's like water rising up to a level that balances itself out in the parts of us that feel like God is at a distance. Eventually, the fourth and fifth dimension will cause us to see, if you're in these areas, you talk a certain way and you say things, and you can be heard by the ears of those who have open ears to hear the language of that dimension, those dimensions, the fourth and fifth.
I like what Vincent said. Thank you, Vincent, for commenting on this. He said, when Pastor says fourth and fifth dimensions, he's speaking of the relative awareness that Jesus had and worked in. It's what allowed Jesus to vibrate his whole body into essence.
Yeah. In other words, he, as all essence, he as a man had to discover basically what we're talking about. In my investigation into this, the missing years, we say, he did and investigated into these areas. And as the missing books of the Bible and things like that.
Years of Jesus' life, yes.
He found out how this worked, this energy worked inside him. And I'm not going to get into it too much because it's another subject. It's something that you have to really be ready to hear, because it will take you out. The truth about you in the fourth and fifth dimension will take you out of your birth certificate. It will take you out of your physical essence in the sense of being born through a physical body. It will cause you to hear God in everything that you do in an effortless way. In the fourth and fifth dimension, you'll hear and see him, you in people who you thought did not know him or have him in their life. That's a pretty strong statement, and I don't have any problem saying it. In the fourth and fifth dimension, it will cause you to leave those things that you started out with that you thought was really important. Fourth and fifth dimension, seeing and language will automatically cause you to understand, if you want to understand the Bible clearly or the Course in Miracles, whatever you have, the clarity of those will come forth in essence awareness that you and all men, you had something to do with the translation of those objects.
Yeah.
And yet, at the same time, the fourth and fifth dimension is from the heart up. You go into a higher state of awareness of the universe, and you'll go into a higher state of awareness of all things being of God in a different way than you did from the heart down in the lower dimension.
And
Those
you're
that,
speaking of the chakra centers, and when you talk
yeah,
about from the heart down,
yeah,
you're talking about going down through the root chakras,
yeah, at the
which are
bottom.
more base and
Yeah.
more earthy, um, and has to do with the more physical types
Mm-hmm.
of energy.
Mm-hmm. And then the higher parts of the heart, and what got me into this was, I say it like this with words, is that I was able to see the heart of Jesus, and from the heart up, I began to investigate why did He let me see the heart so clear, and
Well, we talked about this the other day, how that in your house and in my house, but in your house particularly, we were talking about the energies that were flowing through your environment
mm-hmm,
were those lower earthy energies.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
A lot of dysfunction and a lot of violence and things like that.
mm-hmm,
So, in order for you to move from those energies to the higher energies of love and the crown chakra, intuition, and all those things, there had to be an interruption
mm-hmm,
in your life.
mm-hmm,
And that interruption was when you saw yourself and you saw Jesus' heart,
mm-hmm,
and that
mm-hmm.
heart imparted into you. And that got you started on the journey of, I want to call, moving away from emergency emotions, moving upward through that spiral into higher self consciousness.
When that happened that morning, I went to the guy that he and I was real close running buddies, and the street life and all the roughness that he and I was in. They used to call us Al Capone and Babyface Nelson and all that.
Yeah, and you really were like Babyface.
And
yeah.
the morning that Jesus appeared to me, within that phrase of time, I went to him and told him what had happened. At the time, he said he didn't believe in those kind of things, but as time went on, it proved out to him that what happened to me took me away from him.
Then that it was a genuine experience.
It was a real experience. I see him every once in a while, and we talk, and I go see him sparingly. He's changed some, but not. He tells everybody that he believed that I was the only real one that had the experience around him as far as preachers, because he went to a lot of clubs and a lot of underground dancing and alcohol places where he saw a lot of doctors and pastors and preachers messing with the ladies, and then come out on Sunday and act like they was okie dokie, And he and I talked about that, and he and I met a bunch of them like that, because we ran together just like your fingers on your hand. We were tight, and he still remembers that day. And his mother was in the hospital, and she would not cross over until she had him at her bed. She wanted to talk to him. She called him Junior, and I called him Junior too when I was messing with him. But I still remember him. It was through him that I got together with him, and God using even him to move in a dimensional way to bring me to the place where I could meet my wife here. But I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell him all the time that God used him to do this. And God used all of those negative things in my life to bring me to this point. And I am grateful that God had it planned for you and I 50 some years ago, or beyond that, to come together on this site to talk about the mysteries of our true identity self. We are the real self of God beyond the physical body, but we don't. I want to bring this to you so you'll see that the physical part of us is not all bad.
No, it's not. It's actually very beneficial.
Without
Very
this suit,
beneficial.
we have nothing to wear in this dimension.
Yeah, but I think the goal of God or the universe, however you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
divine intelligence, supreme being, source energy, however you want to label what you think and who you think is God.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The interest of God is not so much for us to have a brief glimpse of
Mm-hmm.
who
Mm-hmm.
we are, who God is, but to have a full realization. That full realization will last through, will go through and weather the storms of crisis that come up in this life.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't remove the feelings that we have of being a little afraid, or it doesn't remove the anxiety, but it does give us the strength and the wherewithal to maneuver and go through those things without absolutely losing our minds. Because some of the things that happen in this life can make you lose your mind.
Yeah. And say pretty soon you'll understand that your higher consciousness, your fifth dimension identity, will bring all things that are in the low vibration frequency into subjection to the higher vibrations. It will bring that lower vibration into subjection by presence.
And it's the heart, it's the love
The center
that overcomes all of the baser negative energies. It's the love. Love is what eases the pain and causes, for instance, I think it was someone we heard yesterday teaching. He was saying the best thing to do to a demon or a devil is to tell them that you love them. Because the Bible says to love your enemies.
But
love your enemies. And so if you tell them that, it automatically will dissipate the evil, or I should say the lack of love that's there, because evil is just the lack of love. The absence of love. That's all it is.
This fear that you've been made to think that if you say certain things, like what the wife just said, that you're speaking from a wrong spirit and all that. Mm-hmm. Wisdom is your success.
Yes, like what Vincent says. That's good, Vincent. He said it was the love for Lazarus that brought him back into the body.
Thank you. And it is the love of God. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. And when I grew up, everybody wanted to get close to my uncle because he had money.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. He was the one in the family that got brutally damaged when he was a little boy around the stove in the kitchen where they were in those days. And a pot of hot grease fell on his head and burned him.
So he was bald most of his life.
Yeah. First and second degree burns. And I'm pretty sure that was shocking to him. But they knew that he was the money man. Okay. And all of them tried to get money out of him, but they couldn't. And they went, and some of them didn't have anywhere to stay. He let them stay with him and just a place to be. But they had to eventually leave his house because he was so rough. He was so violent. But I was the one that was given to him and his wife, my aunt, to live with him in the midst of the violence and the meanness that he was. And let me tell you something. I look back over this. Nobody can live with the meanness. And I mean, there's some of y'all out there have seen people worse than what I'm talking about. Mm. Nobody can live in the midst of brutality and abuse except for Jesus Christ or the Christ identity. It is the only part of you that must come to the forefront of consciousness to overcome everything in the darkness of your life. You're not overcoming this because you have therapy. You're not overcoming this because you have somebody praying for you. You're not overcoming because you finally made good money after a while. You're not overcoming because you stay away from a certain thing. You're not overcoming any of this, but you are overcoming it because it is Christ that lives through you and has been living through you all these weeks, days, and months when you thought God was not there. And then you finally say, I have him now. You ain't never had nobody. You had what everybody else had, a bad disposition that only God could live with.
We have been had.
Help my time. Somebody need to go play in traffic, because you are to know that nobody, not anybody, could go through what you went through and where you've been and where you came from in the human anatomy. It had to be supernatural presence of God in all of us that's listening to this. Yes. Every one of us. Yes. It had to be the essence of God there. And somebody said, well, after I got saved, I laid this down. Well, let's stop, think back, go back to what you didn't think you had back during those times when you were rough. My brothers and sisters had no idea that the reason why they had to leave my mama's house and go out in the street and beg for food at different friends' houses, they didn't know that God was there inside and around them, causing them to go. They couldn't go to school because they didn't have the clothes, they didn't have the money for food, but I did. And it does not give me any merits of height or well-being than any of the rest of them. But my case, your case, anybody's case, I don't care who you are, where you are, whether you accept Jesus Christ or not, he's accepted you.
And Vincent says this, Vincent, you're hot tonight. He says, yes, assigned destinations agreed to by us.
Yes. And
that Vincent is so very true. But that is what the mind resists, because the mind cannot handle that I actually agree to some of these things that are, not some, but all of the things that are happening to me.
Not one part of our life, even before birth, was not touched by God. Mm-hmm. The eternal essence that we keep talking about, it was there. Yes. If you went to church at Easter, didn't go no more to Christmas. If you didn't go but one time at a eulogy, or you didn't go but one time every 6 years, God was there all the time, and he has never left you and will not leave you just because you, in your monkey mind, won't have anything to do with him, but he is everything to do with you. And that's why you're here. That's why all of us are here. You go to the store, they are here because God. You don't have to try to tell them what we talking about on the air. You just look at them. You wouldn't be standing there looking at you and you at them. That's why when I see people out there, I see beyond their eyes. I look at what is looking at me out from behind their eyes, whether it be good or bad. I see God. I see the Spirit of God, the presence of God around them. That don't mean that they don't cuss, smoke, dip, and chew, and hang around everybody else that do. I don't care if they wear a dress so short you can see the bottom part of hell in their britches. It don't make no difference. God is still there. He don't stay out of them because they went to the liquor store and got drunk. God was right there inside of them while they were drunk. God don't live in no unclean temple. Well, what do you think eternal self is? God, eternal self, lives in everything. You can't, or what do you call that word? Omit him. You can't kick him out. You can't tell him, I don't want you to be in me.
There's nothing exempt.
No.
Nothing exempt. Yes.
Don't, it just don't. I'm sorry, honey. It just don't work like that. You might as well just go ahead on about your business and come on in when you get ready. And if you make it, fine. If you don't, you're going to still meet God.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're going to meet him. Oh, yeah. And you meet him every day, but you're so caught up. Yes. You're so caught up with what they call them, the ladies of the movie, the series that come on by Atlanta, Housewives of Atlanta. Some of you are housewives of whatever state and place you live in. Just because you had a bad, hard time, and then all of a sudden you just decide to give your life to Jesus and give your life to God, or study the course and it changed you, and you think that maybe God didn't show up until you start acting
But
better.
all of that is our belief that we have to perform in order to get God's attention. All of that is coming from an erroneous belief that I must do something for God to really love me. I must do something for God to respond to me in a loving manner. And the truth is, there are some situations that will not go away because they're built for our evolution.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are some that
Mhm.
God will intervene and take away. But we don't ever know. That's why we have absolutely no control over this life.
Listen to this. Every Sunday, sometimes on Friday, there would be a man that come to my house. His name was Mr. Cradle. He, during that time back in the 50s and 60s, that was a rough time for racial discrimination.
It was.
White and black didn't go
There was so
certain
much
places. Let me tell you
tension,
something.
yes.
This man came to my house and sat at the table.
So he was
He was
Caucasian.
Yeah, he's a white man. I don't
Okay.
like to use that word, but I tell you, so
Well, I
you
mean,
get it.
that's all you can.
He sat there and he was bold. Do you think God wasn't in him while he's sitting there drinking that moonshine? I've been around a kitchen in a 3-room apartment where the whole apartment had drunks in it. Upstairs over us, my mama's house, and the next door to us house. Everybody on the weekend, to finally certain ones that moved out. But God was there. Let me tell you, when I received this experience from God, I received it in the heat of the moment. The moment when the high time of moonshine was striking a blue flame in the floor of the kitchen. When they spilled it on the floor, they took a match and lit it across that linoleum floor that used to have pretty flowers on it. People done wore the flowers off and the liquor right across the floor under the refrigerator. And they throw a match down there to determine, said, is that good liquor? Yeah. Boom. It light up with a blue flame. God was right there watching all of it inside of our eternal essence. I'm sorry, honey. If you want to wait till you get something before you see God, I'm telling you, investigate what I'm talking about. Use the word, here it is. Use that word, eternal essence. 2 words, eternal essence. Yes. Use that and investigate in everything that is eternal, does not have a beginning or end. Investigate into near-death studies. Find out why Jesus, when he left his body, what part of him that still existed. That means that every one of us, in the essence of the eternals, cannot be destroyed in our eternal self.
Yes. Now, Linda's coming out with a good comment. She says, I love knowing the beauty, the grace, and the peace that what I am can never abandon itself.
Tell the truth.
Yes,
shame the devil and make him bow his knees inside of your everybody's negative thinking about themselves. Make it bow by rising up into the 4th and 5th dimension of oneness identity, and everything in your life, you'll look at it as nothing but the grace and the power of God that will cause you to take wings of an eagle and laugh at it and say, God, I thank you. That's the greatest statement you can make. Thank you for everything that we went through together. Lord have mercy. They said Mary had a little lamb. How in the world she do it? God had to be there for that.
Yeah, God had to be there.
How did a cat in the field? The cow jumped over the moon. Yeah. God had to be in him or her that jumped over the moon. Yeah.
Let us know if you're getting anything out of this, young ladies.
Listen to this. Every Thanksgiving, we had a great big old pot of chitlins up on the stove.
Who did?
Well, my house did. I don't know about yours. and they put them chitlins up there. You talking about stinking? You know God had to be there to help us go through there, and we get that chitlin and coleslaw and cornbread, potato salad, and pile it on them. We had them chitlin dinners. God had to be in there. God had to be your digestive system to even take that stuff in. I'm telling you, God, I can see it. I can see it all the way through kindergarten, all the way through elementary school, all the way. There's a song that says, "Let Jesus lead me. Let Jesus lead me. Let Jesus lead me all the way from earth to heaven. Let Jesus lead me." Hot dog. Hot dog.
Vincent is asking a question.
What?
Come back. He says, may I ask a question?
Okay, go ahead.
If rest is in settling in knowing.
Say that thing.
If rest is in settling in knowing.
Yes.
The unknowing love of God.
Yes.
Then why does the body mind constantly seek that which is in us, that which we know is love?
Conditions. You set this dimension up, all of us, not as one, but as the universe. We knew that before we came here, we were so cool in the superstructure of our eternal being. The unknowing self came together with the knowing self as an overcomer. Mm-hmm. We tasted everything before we came here, and we said yes to everything that happened to us. We knew that the tears that we were going to shed would be tears that would be caught up and bottled and put in the book of tears in the heavenly dimension inside of us and in the heavenly realm. We knew that this suit many, many lifetimes has rebelled against us, but we overcome it at each turn. I'm going to say it metaphorically, we're the only thing in the essence of God that could throw a brick and it turn a curve and still reach our destination. Your destination will not be shunned just because your body, whoa, glory, just because your body mind acts foolish. You'll learn eventually how to locate, fix your attention on the essence. As you go further deeper into this, you will see God inside of you as your true self, praising and worshiping everything. And like he called Judas a friend, you'll say, thank God for the dark night of the soul, because God comes out in light in every bit of darkness. Ah, my glory be to God. I got to quit. Hold it, boy.
You don't have to quit.
You got to hold it down now. I got to hold it down.
But I want to.
I get carried away.
That's fine. You can carry away all you want to.
Okay, go ahead, baby.
But I do know this, Vincent. The body and the mind experiences emotional states of emptiness, helplessness, limitation, and much more. But when it experiences those emotional states, it then, because it knows nothing else to do, it then begins to seek for something to help, something to connect with. And that is the body mind. And it's not so much the body, it's the body mind. It's the mind of the body, not the body and mind. It's the mind of the body that feels alone and feels abandoned and feels misused and all of these things. So it looks for, but that looks for a connection is simply a belief that's floating through the mind of the body. It's a belief that God is not present. because there is no alternate state. There is no relief from what I'm experiencing. There is no evidence that God is present. Yet God is in that is seeing the seeking. God is in that one that is seeing the seeking. God is that one that is seeing the seeking, and God is that is being sought for. So it's the play of consciousness. It's just the play of consciousness.
I got a feeling everything gonna be all right. Oh, I got a feeling everything gonna be all right. Oh, I got a feeling everything gonna be all right. Be all right. Be all right.
Be all right.
Be all right.
We use those songs to comfort the mind of the body.
What you talking about?
Yes, we do. We use those songs to comfort when you're in those emergency emotions. That helps
Glory
us.
Be to God.
Those are tools of things that we can do to lift.
When I was a little boy in a little body, one of the things I used to love to do, my aunt and I would sit up and talk to each other. I love going in the kitchen, getting one of them old drumstick pieces of cold chicken and sit up in the bed and eat it. Because I knew somewhere 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, my uncle was coming in the door, and the first thing he gonna do is start fighting her.
Right. So that was your comfort.
That chicken leg was my comfort.
So
I'm telling you,
that's why it's good to have the experience of having received the Holy Spirit.
Yes.
And I don't say that people who are not non-churched, they have to go the way that all Christians have gone. But knowing that the Holy Spirit is there to comfort you means a lot to the conditioned by the mind of the body. It means a lot to that one.
Out of all the people in my family, physical family, the meanest triple head rattlesnake, stone cold rattlesnake, outlived every last one of them. Everybody that he was with, that he beat out of everything, they said he was going to die first, and he'd been cut on the arm with axes, knife stabbed, all kinds of stuff, fighting, cutting, even in the country church, put a knife in a man's neck to cut him in half. He lived over 100-some years old, come to the place where he just barely could walk. He didn't like to take a bath. He smelled like old-timey garbage yard. Put him in my truck one day to take him to a place. He got out, my whole truck had to be disinfected. And yet he outlived everybody in the family but me.
Okay.
Now listen. There must be a God somewhere.
Oh, Lord.
I'll tell you the truth. It was God. It was the Lord. I saw it. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And you know it's the truth. God has always been there in your form. He may seem like he's a silent one, but he wasn't. Oh, no. He may seem like it, but God was working signs and wonders and miracles. God is working miracles and been working these wonderful miracles called the miracle of life. That's why we call it Cornerstone Life Center. It is the life of God that is so fixed into your consciousness that it had to be no longer you that lived, but Christ has always lived through you. I'm telling you, God is still that same way in your life right now. Ain't gonna change it because you have to see this eventually. I don't care how many times you go on the other side and come back, you will eventually add this thing up. 3 and 3, 2 and 2. You're going to always come back to 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to find the oneness of God so powerful in your life and your steps that have been ordered by the power of God all your life.
Yes.
There's
Yes.
no denial in it.
Yes.
Catherine Kuhlman, the miracle lady in Pittsburgh, when we went up there for our first time on a plane,
Our anniversary. Mm-hmm.
There was a man that was drunk as a cooter. He was so drunk, he's drunk with a wheelbar with one handle with a brick in it and a flat tire. Cussed God out. Got in there around the presence of God and got completely set free.
Sure did. Sure did. Sure did.
Stop and think. Mm-hmm. Just stop. Stand still and see the glory of God in every life. Laverne, we are with you.
Yes.
We're inside of your husband, Johnny. We're inside his essence in the doctors. We ain't just started talking to God by words. Our actual life is the talkings of God. Johnny's life and your life has been talking to God 24/7. You can't pull anything. You can't pull the wool over God's eyes just because of a condition that Johnny's body has got. The essence of God has been with him. That's why you and him got together. Laverne, I feel the power of God in both of y'all right now. Cry your tears, but let it be known that Jesus Christ, and you know what we teach, you know what we taught. He's crying inside of you, honey. He's feeling the pain. He's touched with the feeling of Johnny's infirmity, imposability, something that's been put on him that causes a speed bump or a wall to be build a structure that's trying to block him from getting from A to B. I asked the question over and over again about certain ones in my life that had to cross early or certain ones that had to go through certain things. God is there. Remember what Jesus said. I was sick and you visit me not. Mm-hmm. I was hungry and you fed me not. Mm-hmm. I was naked and you clothed me not. Lord, when were you hungry, you didn't feed you? When were you naked and we didn't clothe you? Huh? He said, if you've done it to the least of it. He didn't say nothing about you being saved. He didn't say nothing about you knowing God. He didn't say anything about you being holy. He didn't say anything about you having the Bible in your arm or studying any kind of literature. He said, I am them.
Yes. Yes.
Everybody in the rest home, everybody in the hospital, everybody that you've been around down there in Georgia and all in places, he said, I am them. Yes. And he's you and he's Johnny.
Yes, he is. Yes.
I don't care what is said. Look, nobody's here but me, my wife, and the dog. And some of you guys sitting out there listening to us now, you're the only one there. And all the rest of your family, don't look at Mr. Kessler. He's got family, but he's right there in his house by himself. Listen. I'm scared to talk like this because you never know when you're going to have to face things like you're facing, baby girl. Mm-hmm. Sweetheart, listen. Everybody in my wife family is practically gone, but her and her sister. And me and her, the only one. Please, I have your heart, sweetheart. I am your heart.
Yeah. We feel you, Vern.
Oh, Lord.
We feel you really deeply today.
If I could, I'd reach my hand through the telephone and through this site and slap the hell out of that condition that John is dealing with and bring him back. I'm still believing for a miracle of God.
Yes.
God didn't get this when we started praying. He was in it. He's in it, Laverne. He's in it. He's in it. He's in it. And there's nothing better than God being him in Johnny as his real self.
Yes.
It is real.
Judy says this. She says, given the circumstance of your childhood, it seems absolutely miraculous that you came through all that.
Yes,
and
yes,
have
dear.
emerged into who you are today,
Thank you.
sharing these teachings with us. Yes, you're right, Judy. It is amazing. My land.
Will you look what
You
just
got look at this.
this rascal come up under the table to get up here. Baby girl, come all the way under the table.
All the way back
You can't sit
behind
down,
the
boo
table.
boo. She come on, come on. You can't.
Oh,
She went up under the table to sit down to get over here to her because we were making so much noise. She wants to come and comfort us. She come to soak up the energy to give us strength to keep going. Yeah, baby girl. Now wait a minute. Now I got a job to do here, girl. I ain't got time to take up with you.
We do have a job to do, so you're gonna have to wait.
That's what she looking at you.
You're gonna have to wait, young lady.
Mm-hmm.
Linda says this: the only lack God has is limitation. So perhaps experiencing humanhood is the experience of limitation, but only God is, and so we are destined to remember what we are. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And these kinds of situations is what we are given as gifts to bring us to the place of full realization of who we are. And they're not always pleasant, but they do their job.
Now, I'm going to tell you a revelation that just recently revealed to me about animals. You see a cat, if you rub him from the head down, and as you get back to rubbing by his tail, his back legs get real stiff, and he'll sit up on the back. The Lord showed me that the reason why we have animals, when we come in the house and baby girl is real happy, she'll do the same thing that a cat do, go round and round the circle. And I was wondering why she's doing that. And the Lord said this, my spirit said to me, she is absorbing all energies from us that does not match up to the energies that she was given to deal with before she came to earth to be a gift to us. She is what is called a energy absorber, and she can gather this energy up and destroy it and wipe it out from us. So she's the love of God. Puppy dogs and animals like this are the love of God for us. And you guys, please understand, we want you to see the best of your life at this moment. The very second that we are speaking in right now, I want you guys to take a breath and see God like you've never seen him before in your life. And you have, and you will.
Vincent says at work there's a guy with a knee condition, and every time he gets around him, he feels the urge to pray for him, but he doesn't want that to interfere with his job. Your heart cries out.
Okay.
And tonight, Pastor and I are doing what we normally do, but our hearts have been with Laverne for the last day or so. And it's been kind of hard to override those feelings. For right now, we're it's almost like she and Johnny have become central focus. And that's what prayer is. When your heart cries out, that's what prayer is. You are praying for that guy.
Yeah, Vincent, just you seeing him and being there, you created this situation to be around him, and you are helping him by your presence. Your presence, remember, your presence has always been and will always be the presence of God, helping people on a subterranean level. You're like a submarine. You go deep, and every once in a while you come up for air, but you are still the power of God, whether you touch him or pray for him directly or not.
It is the heart's cry is God.
Yes.
It is God.
Yes. And that's him crying.
That is love crying out to help that person. Now, this is a thing. We cannot interfere with their life script.
That's right.
And we don't know what their life script has dictated. And that's why Jesus prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane, said, if it's possible for this cup to pass from me, then let it pass from me. But if not, I accept the will of God. So he understood that he was praying, but he was praying according to his script. He didn't want to violate his script. He couldn't violate his script.
That's right.
And so destiny has dictated what will happen, but we can be a catalyst to bring to Laverne and to Johnny and to any of you and all of you, ourselves included, the love of God that will bring us peace and relief from these things that we experience. It's been tough. I'm sure it's tough for Laverne, and it's been tough for some of you.
But you'll make it. You'll make it. Well, There was a guy that had a near-death experience. He came out of his body. He saw these things that we're talking about. And
Yeah.
he was asked the question, do you want to go further into this or will you want to go back? And he said that to the presence of God, I don't want to die yet. So he immediately, when he said that, he came back. But he was able to see God in the trees and the grass and everything around him in his near-death experience. Thank you for coming with us on this journeyless journey, this pathless path,
Yes.
this wordless speaking, stillness, still is the highest form of communication. Thank you so much for the great session that you just loved us with in presence. I'm going to use your words, Vince. The session of love is all around us. And a lot of times I get up in the morning, I get my sleep, but at the same time, I get up, I stay up, because I don't want to miss anything that God is talking to me about.
I know,
and you won't. But that's just a habit. But I want you to know that I appreciate all of you, the way you supported us and the way you've been giving to us to keep things going. So, you help us keep the house and keep things going so we can keep talking to you. And my wife asked me all the time, said, what are you going to talk about tonight?
Yeah, it's just a habit.
Yeah, I
it's
know.
Just a habit.
But you know what?
I don't expect you to tell me.
Oh, shucks. Yeah, I'm going to tell you anytime. Anyway, but I just want you guys to know, out of words of appreciation, I went today and got the oil change in my Jeep, and I come home, and Mr. Kessler was fixing a light in the garage. And I thank God that the $200 that I spent to help him and get things done came from you guys. You sent this to us, and you speak these things into existence. And I thank you for the thousands of dollars and for the more that you are helping us, for the thousands that are coming in the mail and coming to us.
And I want to just as a thank you prayer.
Yeah,
I want to thank God for the wisdom to come through every last one of us during these times of inflations and recessions and all of that, to show us exactly how to maneuver so that we will benefit instead of experiencing lack. Yeah. We're not going to experience any lack. I am positive.
That's the truth, because we're covered. Somebody say we have friends in high places, and you guys, thank you so much for the presence of God. You came in a great time when your presence would be spoken of as one of the greatest blessings that could ever happen in anybody's life. You're the royal seed. You're the blood of Christ that's flowing in the land and through all of us. You're the breath of God that is breathing inside of every one of us tonight. Thank you so much for tuning into us. We'll be back again now.
We will.
We're coming back, and that'll be when? Thursday
at 12:30.
12:30. Huh?
Yes, for impromptu. Now, I hesitate only because we've got some air conditioning stuff that's got to take place, and we're not sure when it's going to happen. But I think we'll be back. In fact, I know we'll be back in some capacity on Thursday at 12:30 with Pastor Norman, if he's available. And he's on here now. So, hey, Pastor Norman. And
hey, brother, I smell you through the picture. I see the smell and the aroma of the rose of Sharon.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to being with him again. Pastor preached so much last time, me and Norman didn't have to say it. He didn't hardly have to say anything.
Well,
you preached to everybody last Thursday.
Oh, Lord.
We were the audience. Weren't we, Norman? We were the audience. We threw one or two little words in there.
You get that smell of the rabbit in your nose, you got to hunt. If your dog don't hunt, you did. It was a long time ago. If your dog don't hunt, you get rid of it. You trade him in.
You get excited. You get really passionate about what you're saying, and that's okay. I mean, everybody benefits from it.
Well, that's where I've been with you. I'm passionate with you.
Passionate about it.
I can't help myself. I stepped in a puddle of her and got her all over me.
You know, this is the month of our anniversary.
August 29th.
Exactly.
I am in love with you. I can't help myself.
How many years has it been?
It's been...
I don't think either of us know.
Wait a minute. Okay. It's been 52 years. Going on 53.
Going on.
Yeah, going on. I've been preaching about how long? How long have I been preaching?
53.
53. All right. So about 2 years I preached before we got married, didn't we?
One
year?
One year.
All right, then we've been married 53 years.
Yeah. And Leslie Austin is on here. Hey, Leslie.
Yeah, Leslie, how
Leslie.
you doing there, girl?
Thank you, sweetie.
Killer Rock record training, therapy, and catch rheumatism.
Last time we had an anniversary, we both forgot it, didn't we?
We sure did.
Mm-hmm. The
We
next
get
day,
so you see, we had our anniversary is all every day.
the next day, we both looked at each other and said, we forgot our anniversary.
Ooh. Don't you know it? Don't you know it?
I know.
Come on, let me tell you where it's at. Come on, let me tell you where it's at. Come on, let me tell you where it's at. The name of the place. I like it like that.
The name of the place or the name of the game?
The name of the place and the game.
And I like it like that. Okay. All
You
right.
take Sue and I'll take you.
Vincent said we so cute.
hey, you know, I used to be pretty one time, but now that I gotten old, I guess
Now we just cute.
we just cute. Yeah. Have fun, make happiness your goal, and your smile will reflect itself in everything you see and meet. Be sad, and everything around you will reflect sadness. We don't want to do that. We want you to reflect joy and wealth and happiness.
Find something to be thankful
Yes, Lord.
Find anything to be thankful for. If you're just
Open your
if it's
heart.
nothing but I can breathe
That's
right
right.
now.
That's right.
Enough to say thank you.
When I didn't have a church to preach at and a place to go when we was young, I'd grab a broom or a table and preach to it.
You preach to the TV.
I preached to the television, anything.
And I was the congregation.
Yes, Lord. I had to practice. I practiced a little bit. Okay.
We
Awesome
love you guys.
people.
We'll
Thank
be
you.
back on Thursday at 12:30. We will see you then.
Okay.
Happy trails.
See you next time.